Well, I found my park bench, um, and it's not as comfy as my chair inside, but we'll make it work. I think it's so important to get outdoors every now and then, especially while the weather's so beautiful. So I'm going to stop rambling about the weather, and I'm going to start talking about what we came here to talk about, and that is the importance of having an MC at your wedding. So I don't think that we really realize how much work actually goes into being an MC. You got to think of your MC as kind of like the glue that holds your reception together. Your MC and your DJ are probably, other than your photographers and your videographers, two most important parts of making sure your reception is successful and runs well. You know, the DJ and the MC work together, and they work with us as well. And for the night, we curate the night. We make sure everything runs on time. We make sure the mood of the room is kept bubbly and alive. We make sure people are bored. We read the room, and there's still a lot of room for flexibility in that as well. I did a wedding recently and there was no MC and there was no DJ. And I have to say, it was tough. We went around, we took photos of all the tables and people, and then we were just left kind of standing there. There wasn't anything else for us to take photos of. And there was a really long gap from that time of the night until when the couple cut the cake and the rest of the formalities happened. And that's a waste of our time, and it's a waste of your money as well, when you could be getting a lot more bang for your buck, so to speak. So have a think about, just investing in a proper DJ, proper MC. Quite often your celebrant will also be able to do MCing duties as well. And that's a really good option because they know you. They've come to know your family. They know who's who. They've built a rapport up with everyone that's there. And so people will stop and listen to them. And of course, they have the fantastic speaking voice and they've worked with you on the wedding. So they're familiar with the vibe you want for your wedding. Some of you guys are like super party. Some of you guys are like super laid back. And some of you guys even don't really want the formalities. But even when you don't want the formalities, you still need a bit of structure. And sometimes I think we err so much on not wanting it to be formal or structured that it actually ends up backfiring, because you can still achieve an unstructured feel, but there's still structure to the night. And so that way, you get everything you want, you get the feel you want, and the night goes off without a hitch. And in 10, 20, 30 years time, when you're looking back at your photos and videos, you're not going to regret anything, because trends change and times change. And one of our biggest things now is making sure that when you look back on your photos, your video, you're still happy with what you see. And that's why we quite often don't let trends dictate what we do. We shoot film, we love film, we love the vintage style, but at the same time, there's a reason why film went out of popularity. And there's a reason why people moved to digital, and that's because prints fade. And now you can get all your film, and then you're still going to have to go get them scanned into a computer and saved into a digital file format in order for those photos to last a long period of time. So things like that, we need to make sure that we're not following trends, that we're looking at longevity. Longevity is so important, that you're not going to look back and go, oh, my photos are so brown, or my photos are blue, or we want to find a really good color profile. We want to make sure we capture photos with all the important people that you flagged. So that brings me to another point. If you're MC, if you're DJ, if you're photographers, you need to tell us what's important. We don't know. We're not mind readers. We don't know who's who. We once had a client ask us, where are the photos of the English people? Like, we don't know. Unless you specifically point them out to us and you tell us who's who, we have no idea. So if there are particular people that you want photos with, if there's particular songs you want, if there's a particular style you want for your reception, you need to communicate that. And then make sure that we're all on the same team. Like, make sure that your vendors are working together in unity. So that means we all have the same run sheet, that we're all talking to each other, that we're across everything. Sometimes we've come across MCs that have been so militant in getting things done a certain way that we haven't had time to get our cameras set up. You know, there was one wedding we did and we came back and we were said to the celebrant, could you just wait? Could you just hold speeches off? Just give me 10 minutes while my team set the cameras up. She's like, no, we've got to do it right now. I was like, please let us just set the cameras up. And she was so adamant as she went into speeches, and my boys had to just hand hold the cameras for the speeches. We didn't have time to get the audio on properly. And it really affected the quality of their speeches video, all because the celebrant, who was also the MC, wasn't willing to work with us as part of a team. At the end of the day, we're all on the same team, and our whole goal is to make sure your day is perfect and runs well. So that one's always stuck with me because I was actually quite, I want to say the word traumatizing, because I can just remember Ryan hitting the floor with his camera and he's trying to shoot up and he's trying to get the couple's reaction. And of course, we also asked if we could do speeches behind the lectern. And they were very insistent, said, nope, they're going to pass the mic around the tables. And so when you pass the mic around the tables, it's a lot harder twisting my words up today. It's a lot harder for us to film. So we are then having to adjust the camera for every time that the mic moves. The lighting is different. Sometimes people speak down here. Sometimes people speak up here with the mic. And so it's a lot harder to control the final outcome when the speeches are done like that. So we always prefer to have one spot, even if there's no lectern, just for people to stand in to do the speeches. So we can have the cameras already focused, that we can put a sound recorder on or near where they're going to be speaking, as well as other microphones. We like to have 3 audio sources at least. So things like that really go a long way into helping make a better video, but then we have to work with the MC as well. So these are just a few reasons why having an MC is so important for your wedding. I know it can be expensive, but chat with your celebrant. Sometimes they'll add it on as part of their services. I know there's some really great DJs out there that don't break the bank, that are super skilled in what they do. One of our favorites is Brett Langford from Black Hat Entertainment. He's a fantastic DJ. I can't recommend him highly enough. And we have others that we've worked with too that have been amazing. So just have a look around. Make sure you tell the DJ your song choices and the vibe you like, so you're not ending up with techno music at a country wedding and vice versa. The DJ knows the bangers. They know which songs that get people moving and get people dancing. And you'll find that they'll deliberately control the music throughout the night in order to match the vibe of the room. So when it's speeches and people have to sit down, the music's a bit more mellow. And then once the first dance is over and dancing starts, the bangers come out and people are up out of their chairs and dancing. So all of that you don't get when you're just running off a Spotify list and you don't have an MC. So these are things that really make the night memorable, certainly make the photos memorable. We get some really great photos when people are just going to town with the dancing. All my team love shooting the dancing part of the night. I think for them it's a bit of the reward after going through the whole day. And you'll quite often see the team hands holding the cameras on the dance floor, just getting some really great footage. One of our team, James, in his other job, he actually shoots raves for a living. So that's his jam. And so whenever you see a James video, the dancing's always next level, because he just loves that. So yeah, I hope that's helped. I hope that's given you some reasons why you should look into hiring an MC and DJ. As I said, check with your celebrant. A lot of people are asking family members to do it, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you are going to do that, you need to have someone who's like a teacher or a nurse, someone who's used to being an authority, someone who has a very good speaking voice, someone who's not afraid to keep the night on track. That means being a little bit tough with hey guys, Ty's running away with us. We're going to have to, shuffle things. And make sure they're comfortable and happy to do it too, and they're not just put on the spot. And so, because all of that will come across on the night as well. If you have any questions, as always, ask me. Alex is here. He's just doing a really good job of holding that camera steady, aren't you?
I'm trying my best.
Are your arms going dead yet?
A little bit. I'll bring the tripod next time.
I think that's a great idea. So I hope you enjoyed our Great Outdoors podcast. And we will catch you again next